What's going on, everyone? My name's Tim Williams. We're here to break down today, July 20th, MLB slate over on DraftKings. If you are new to the channel, welcome. What's going on? My name's Tim. We're going to break down each and every one of these games on tonight's main contest here over on DraftKings. If that sounds good to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any further future breakdowns here. And let's just dive right in here. We got a lot to cover here, a lot of pitching, hitting, a lot of decisions we're going to have to make today. Pitching's a little suspect, but let's just dive right in. So first we have the Marlins Nationals. Marlins are favorited here on the road, 9 over under. We actually do have Rogers pitching today, taking on Espino. Rogers 10K. Don't love the price tag, especially going against the Nationals, who don't seem to strike out too much, have been on a roll. They just mashed yesterday. We saw that. Yesterday's slate was beyond crazy. Imagine that being your first day playing DFS. That was a crazy rough one. But yeah, Rogers 10K, a little pricey. Not the worst pitcher on the slate by far. 30% strikeout rate here, 8.5% walk rate. I just don't love the matchup a ton. Espino 6.8K. Marlins lineup's a little bit banged up. I can see why, if you really needed to save some salary, why you'd go there. Not a ton of upside though. 16.8% strikeout rate, 44% fly ball rate, gets hard hit about 43.8% of the time. If you're going Marlins way, who are favorited, Marte at 4.5 looks great. Aguilar 4.1. He's kind of had some hit or miss games. Duvall has that major power upside here. All three of them have hard hit rate percentage, a good hard hit rate percentage, and some sort of combination of good ISO and good WOBA against right-handed pitching. So I think those are the three safest Marlins on that team as far as the matchup goes today. And then the Nationals here, you have Turner at 5.5, 416 WOBA, 231 ISO, 13.8% walk rate versus left-handed pitching. I think he's in one of the best spots here. Again, Rogers not a bad pitcher though. Soto 5.5, 361 WOBA, 250 ISO against left-handed pitching. So those two guys can just mash. Zimmerman, if he starts at 2.2K, presents pretty good value here. 379 WOBA, 279 ISO here against lefties. And then Harrison at 2.4, I think he's just underpriced as well. I think you could easily get away with a national stack here. So next you have the Phillies Yankees, 9 over under here. Phillies favored here on the road. Nola taking on German. Nola 9.5K. He missed last start. He was coming off the COVID list. He never actually tested positive. I think he just was around some dudes who might have tested or whatever, what have you. Either way, he's just not hurt. He's definitely well rested, taking on a Yankees lineup who is really banged up. A lot of guys on that COVID list. So I do like Nola a lot in the spot, and I think a lot of people will take him. 9.5K is nice. 30.3% strikeout rate here. Good control. Has just been pretty solid all year for the most part. German 7K, his opponent, 21% strikeout rate here. 39.2% fly ball rate. Gives up a decent amount of hard contact, 42.5% of the time. Much worse against right-handed batters. And then on the Philly side, we're going to start with Harper here at 5.4. I know he's a lefty, but he's just mashing righties here. 399 WOBA, 309 ISO. And then, Real Muto's in the picture at 5K, maybe a little pricey for me, but Hoskins as well, 5.2. I think any of those three guys have the ability to knock the ball out of the ballpark playing in New York. Segura, McCutchen, a couple guys I don't mind getting to at that cheap price who are going to hit toward the front of the order in front of those Harper, Real Muto, Hoskins guys, somewhere around there. So I think Phillies are kind of viable in this spot here. And then on the other side with Stan, that being the only Yankee I'm interested in, mainly because of the price, 4.8K at home. Nola, good pitcher though, so I'm probably not going to get to any Yankees today. Next, we have the Red Sox Blue Jays, 11.5 over under. Massive over under total here. Possible rain in this one. I don't know if they're actually going to play through this game. A lot of rain in Buffalo. Richards versus Hatch. Richards 7.5K, 17.7% strikeout rate, which not very good, kind of down. 10.6% walk rate, gives up a ton of hard contact here 48% of the time. They are playing in a AAA ballpark. That kind of scares me. I am off of Richards personally. Next, we have Hatch, 4K, just kind of called up. Uh, Going against the Red Sox team, one of the best offenses in that AAA ballpark. I don't love the matchup here. I don't care about the price savings. 2.73 ERA, 23 strikeouts, and 26.1 innings pitched in AAA. Red Sox very much in play here. I think it starts for me with Devers at 5.4. Gladly will pay that price. 422 WOBA, 356 ISO against right-handed pitching. He is in an excellent spot here. Martinez 4.6. I think that's way too cheap. DraftKings kind of, giving you a free square on that one. Duran hit a home run yesterday, his first career home run, 2.3K seems pretty cheap, especially if he is going to be hitting out of the 2-hole. We'll see if he's in the lineup. Bogart's 5.1, very nice price. Verdugo 3.4K. I think he lines up well here. I think he's in a good matchup. I think he will go under-owned. Next year on the other side here, the Blue Jays, Guerrero at 6K, 484 WOBA, which is just insane against right-handed pitching, 394 ISO. Really love him in this spot as well. Semien, Bichette, Springer, Biggio, nice big fat stack here. If you got pitching to pay down for, I really love getting to both offenses in this one. Next, you have the Mets taking on the Reds, 10 over under. Reds are favorited here. Stock taking on Miley. Stock 5.6K, just not a ton of interest here. And then in the other side, Miley 8.3K. He hasn't been bad all year. I'll give him that. He even has a no-hitter, right? Before all the sticky stuff and the crackdown and all that good stuff. 19.2% strikeout rate. So not a ton of upside when it comes to the strikeouts here. Mets just generally don't strike out a ton anyway. 54.6% ground ball rate. So he's really relying heavily on the GB. Mets, the only two guys I kind of have interest in here, maybe Alonso is a one-off at 5.6, but honestly, I'm probably not going to get there. Davis at 4.6 as well. And he's been hitting the ball well coming off the IR. And then on the Red side, really do like getting to the Red stack today. Maybe people are going to be kind of off of him after yesterday. I'm not sure. Winker continues to get priced down. And I know he has been struggling a little bit, but he had a good game yesterday. 3.9K is way too cheap for him. 310 ISO versus right-handed pitching. So you're getting a nice discount there. Castellanos made a pinch hit appearance yesterday. 4.1K is really cheap. I expect him to probably be back in the lineup. Votto 4.5, too cheap. Naquin, huge game yesterday. 2.3K, too cheap. And then India at 4K. I don't mind paying up because the rest of the stack is so small. So I definitely have interest in the Reds. Next game we have here, Orioles taking on the Rays, 8 over under here. We have big bad mean John Means back in the lineup, or in the rotation, I should say, today. I think he was out for about 6 weeks, taking on McClanahan here, and the Rays are favorited. Means 9.3. I think the price is a little up. I don't like the matchup here for the Rays. Against the Rays, I should say. 25.7% strikeout rate. I think that's fine. Gives up a ton of fly balls here. He's got a good matchup 4K, so he has the potential to kind of mow through this lineup, but there's times where we just see him. He doesn't really have the strikeout stuff. He does get the outs. So the upside might be a little bit limited. Coming off the IR, missing a substantial amount of time, I think I'm just not going to get there. And then McClanahan on the other side, huge strikeout potential here, 28% strikeout rate, 9% walk rate. Don't love to see that. Gives up a ton of hard contact. Matchups okay. I don't really love the pitching on either side, nor the hitting. As far as the bats go with the Orioles, I like Hayes a lot. 2.5K, 253 ISO and 82 plate appearances. I don't mind that. Mancini at 4.7, 284 ISO. These guys kind of profile very similar today in today's matchup. I think I'll just take the savings on Hayes. Plus he has the outfield flexibility. And then on the other side, Franco would be like the one kind of one-off I would take against Means at 4.8K, but that's a little pricey. So this game might just be a fade outside of maybe a Hayes as a salary saver. Next game we have here, Rangers, Tigers, 8.5 over under. Tigers are favored here at home. Dunning taking on Skubal. I expect both of these pitchers to be somewhat kind of owned here. Skubal more than Dunning for sure. Dunning 6.7K. I think the price is fair. Matchup's okay, right? I think it's time for people to stop picking on the Tigers. Now that we have this warm weather, it does look like they are hitting the ball very well. So their numbers are a little bit skewed because of the beginning of the year. Dunning 25% strikeout rate. That is nice to see at that price. 8% walk rate. Don't love that. 54% ground ball rate. Does get hard hit quite a bit. The thing about Dunning is he could go 5 or 6 innings, right? And it's like they'll only let him throw throws 60 to 80 pitches and then they pull him. So because of that reason, I'm probably not going to get there. I'm going to let the other people take him. Skubal 7.7K. I think that's an okay price. Rangers, decent strikeout matchup for him. 27% strikeout rate, 10% walk rate. Don't love that. 42% fly ball rate, getting hard hit about 40% of the time, much worse against right-handed batters. And for me, when I'm taking Rangers bats, I really like the left-handed power. So as far as the righties go, like Garcia would be the one bat for 4K here. That's pretty cheap for him. I just don't know if I'm going to get there. Hicks 3-2. When he got called back up, he's been kind of hitting the ball, but he's kind of been quiet the last week or so. I expect him to probably get the start today. And then on the other side with the Tigers, we saw how many runs they put up yesterday against Kyle Gibson. Badu 3.1K, 383 WOBA, 261 ISO against right-handed pitching this year. I love him as a one-off. It's just too cheap for what he's been doing this past week. Scope 4.9K. I don't mind that because of the upside there, but yeah, typically just more so into the one-offs here. Badu, definitely my favorite hitter in this whole matchup. I could see why you would want to play Skubal, maybe Dunning as well, but I think I'll just stick with Badu. Next, we have the Padres Braves 9 over under here. There is going to be some rain likely. Yesterday got postponed. It barely rained, if it rained at all. I'm not really sure. People pretty upset about that. I just completely fully faded yesterday's game, expecting that they probably would postpone it. And they did. Darvish taking on Mueller. Darvish expected to start yesterday. 9.8K is his price. 46.2% fly ball rate, 29% strikeout rate. He's looked good. He's also had some, bad games as well. Braves, without Acuna, a little bit weaker. They have Peterson now, who does have power upside, but his opponent Mueller 8.3. K has K upside. He does kind of walk a lot of guys in that short amount of time he's had. I don't even know, 1 or 2 starts. Just don't love the matchup against the Padres. I actually like Padres bats here. Hosmer's my favorite one at 3.6K. Tatis 5.7. Pham 3.9, Grisham 3.3. You can easily stack the Padres today. Braves bullpen, not that scary. Freeman on the other side, the one Brave I really do like, 4.13 WOBA, 254 ISO against right-handed pitching. Riley in the mix as well. Kind of priced about right, appropriately. You're not really getting a good deal on him, but love the Padres here. Keep an eye out for weather, though. That is a actual major concern. The only real game that has some weather concerns outside of that Toronto one. So next we have the Twins White Sox 9.5 over under. White Sox are favored here. Little tidbit, there is going to be some wind blowing out of the stadium tonight. So Ober taking on Keuchel, Ober 8.8K. I don't know what DraftKings is thinking. Maybe they must know something that we don't know, but I am definitely not going to pay that price for that dude. 23.8% strikeout rate, 8.5% walk rate. Doesn't get enough ground ball outs, 29% ground ball outs, that you're not going to find success in the major leagues if you continue to do that. 44.7% fly ball rate, gives it a ton of hard contact 47% of the time. I would like to attack him tonight. Keuchel 7.3K, just doesn't have a ton of upside here, right? And the Twins actually hit lefties pretty well. They've seen each other before. 13% strikeout rate here, not a lot to write home about there. 58% ground ball rate. That's just who he is. He gives up tons of hard contact. He gets ground ball outs. That's just who he is at this stage of his career. He does have the ability to have some good games, but I just don't like the matchup. Cruz 5.2, Donaldson, Garver's back. He had a big game yesterday, 3.6K. I will gladly pay that against any lefty at that price is just too cheap. Polanco as well. I think people aren't going to pay for that. I would. And the other side, the White Sox, I'm high on them, especially if you're making one of these 5-3 lineups, and we'll talk about it. So Anderson, Moncada, love those guys. Abreu obviously in the mix, but I'm taking a look at Sheets, who's been hitting the ball very well. Berger, just kind of called up, been doing all right. Collins, probably the starting catcher tonight, 3.4K. If those guys are hitting 7, 8, 9, I love the correlation between the three. You could easily stack them with one of these bigger teams. If you're interested in the Blue Jays or the Padres or any of those kinds of teams, you want the Dodgers, you're going to need to save some money somewhere. So I do like that combination of Sheets, Berger, Collins, as long as they make the rotation here. So, the wind's blowing out, lots of love. Next, we have the Indians Astros 9 over under here. McKenzie taking on Garcia. Astros favorited. McKenzie 8K, kind of an interesting pitcher, young kid, 32% strikeout rate here. Does have the ability and the upside. He's got those Otani like numbers where he can strike out a ton of dudes, but 19% walk rate, which is horrible. 28% ground ball rate. Like we just talked about with Ober, you're just not going to find success if you continue to do that. He does have the strikeout stuff though, but 49% fly ball rate, gets hard hit about 38.5% of the time. So McKenzie, I'm out on him taking on the Astros, who just don't strike out, who are very tough to get through that 1 through 9. So his opponent, Garcia, the highest priced pitcher on today's slate, 10.4K. It's a lot to pay for. Indians don't really strike out a ton, but they definitely can strike out. 28% strikeout rate for Garcia. The walk rate's up a little bit, 8.5%, 45.7% fly ball rate. That's just who he is. He gives up a lot of fly balls, and he gives up a lot of, contact and fly balls to lefties. 335 WOBA lefties have against him. So definitely interested in the lefties here. Ramirez, a switch hitter, really fits the bill here at 5.2K, 393 WOBA, 326 ISO versus righties this year. Love me some Reyes. I know he's hitting from the right side, but when you have a fly ball pitcher against a guy who hits fly balls, really prefer the hitting in this matchup, especially if he's hitting 417 WOBA and 402 ISO against righties. Really like the matchup for him as a one-off. You're getting some sort of salary savings, when you compare him to some of these 5K guys. Bradley 4-1 if you're going for the 3-man stack, but really just interested in Ramirez and Reyes. And then on the Astros side, I really do love them. They are one of the best offenses, and I think sometimes people forget that, and maybe they go lower owned. I love the lefties in this one. Alvarez 5-1, 304 ISO versus righties here. Tucker 3-8, that's way too cheap. Brantley 3-2. You can easily 3-man stack that. That's a 2, 4, and 6 hitter, most likely in the lineup today. So, and then Altuve's 4-9, that's cheap. Correa 4-6, that's cheap. You can kind of mix and match. You do a 5X, 5-3, whoever. I think the Astros are just a little bit too cheap against a really volatile pitcher here, McKenzie. So next you have the Cubs Cardinals, 8.5 over under. Cubs favorited here. Just an NL game that's just going to be, I don't know, not a ton of upside in my opinion. I feel with these kinds of games here. Williams taking on Oviedo. Williams 9.2K. Something must be in that DraftKings water that we're just not tasting, right? I don't know why he's priced that high. 24% strikeout rate, near 10% walk rate, 49% ground ball rate. That's just who he is. He likes to get those grounders. He gets hard hit quite a bit, about 51% of the time. That could be disastrous if he leaves one kind of up in the air or kind of hangs one. And then on the other side, Oviedo, 6.5K for him. Not a ton of upside here. Cubs have some power, right? 16% strikeout rate, 14% walk rate, gives up plenty of contact. Just nothing to write home about here. On the Cubs, really like Rizzo here, 3.8K. He's my favorite Cubs bat. I think there's upside there. Wisdom as well, 4.1K. Other than that, I know Bryant's cheap and Contreras is in the mix, but I like other spots here. So you kind of have to, take a stand somewhere. And if I'm not taking Rizzo or Wisdom as a one-off, then I'm just not going to be interested in the Cubs bats today. Cardinals here, Goldschmidt, 5.5K. He has been on a tear though, but that seems kind of pricey. Love the matchup here for him though. O'Neill as well has some upside at 3.9, but I'd rather just spend up and get Goldschmidt if I can. Next, we have the Mariners Rockies, 10.5 over under. Rockies are favored at home. We have a Coors matchup. There's a lot on this slide here. So before we get into that, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. This is a nice, fun slate here. Pitching's kind of out of control in this one. So Gonzalez taking on Marquez. Gonzalez 6K, 19% strikeout rate here, 8.1% walk rate. Doesn't get enough ground ball outs like we talked about with a lot of these pitchers. 43% fly ball rate, hard hit about 46% of the time in Coors. I really don't like the matchup here for him. Marquez 8-1, 25.8% strikeout rate here, 9% walk rate, gives up a ton of hard contact, but he relies on the ground balls. So 53% ground ball rate. He has been so good this year. He made the All-Star team. He pitches well in Coors. It doesn't matter if he's home or away. I'm hoping that scares people away from him, the fact that he is at home, but he's facing a Mariners team who's just absolutely atrocious on offense. But, Mariners have a lot to play for. They are in the playoff running. But back to Marquez, 35, 27, 37, 32 DraftKings points in his last 4 starts. The guy just generally has been pretty safe all year. He's 20 plus point upside here for him. I don't mind it here. So we'll see. The price is right. The ownership might be there. We'll see closer to lock. But as far as the bats go, the reason why I have so many Mariners bats on here is because they're just so damn cheap. Seager at 4K is probably my favorite one because of the matchup, the splits. Haniger at 4.4, France 3.2. That's cheap. Kalnick is 2.1, Moore's 2.7. Just a lot of cheap bats in Coors. DraftKings did not price him up, but thinking about the big picture here, I think because of that reason, they're going to be too highly owned. So I'm probably going to fade the Mariners, but I could see why you would want to take a chance on them, especially if Marquez is going to be owned. If I'm making multiple lineups, I'll probably have one Mariners, lineup in there just to be a little bit contrarian. And then on the other side with the Rockies, Hampson, Rogers. I like Hampson a lot actually at 4.3. Story 5.9. It's a little pricey, but we're home in Coors. Crone 5K, same thing. And then I wouldn't mind rounding out the stack if Owings is out there, probably hitting 8 or probably in the 8 spot here. So kind of 8, 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't mind stacking those kind of guys here. Owings 3.2 3.2K. I don't mind it. Next, we have the Pirates Diamondbacks, 9 over under here. Pirates have Anderson on the mound here, Widener for the Diamondbacks. This one's kind of a toss up here, no real favorite. Anderson 8.5K. That's just kind of pricey. I like the matchup though, to be honest. 20% strikeout rate, just a little bit worse against right-handed batters. And then Diamondbacks, Widener 7.6K, a little bit cheaper. I like the discount from Anderson, but kind of similar, 20.5% strikeout rate. Kind of has the, gives up a lot of walks here, 8.2%, ton of fly balls, gives up a lot of hard contact. I don't think the matchup's bad. The Pirates don't really strike out a ton here. I'm probably just going to fade the pitching on this one. I am interested in some of these Pirates bats though. Reynolds at 3.6, probably my favorite one. Gamble at 2K. I hate saying it, but yeah, Gamble, if he's hitting in the 4 spot, taking on the Diamondbacks, who starting pitching isn't great. Bullpen sucks. I like Gamble here. It's a low risk, high reward type of, play. Polanco back in the lineup. It looks like 2.7K. That's pretty cheap for him. I actually like his spot here. Hayes at 4K. I don't love the price, but he has the upside there. If ownership's going to be there, I probably won't go there. I think Reynolds and Gamble are my 2 favorites here. And then on the other side, just to be contrarian, I don't think a lot of people are going to play him. Escobar at 5.7K. This dude was an all-star. He had a huge game yesterday. He has a lot of power upside. Anderson, not going to strike you out. So definitely interested in him. But other than that, I don't really love the Diamondbacks in general. Next and final game here, we have the Giants Dodgers 8.5 over under here. Dodgers favorited. Wood taking on Gray. Gray, one of the best pitching prospects for the Dodgers and just in baseball in general. So that's exciting for him. Congratulations, dude. Wood 9.9K. Don't love the pricing here. Don't love the matchup, but let's talk about it. He has been somewhat, efficient. He has had some really good games as of recent. 25% strikeout rate here. He's just a ground ball guy. 50% ground balls here. Gets hard hit 41% of the time. 8% walk rate. Don't really love that, especially against a Dodgers team. But his last 4 of his 5 outings on DraftKings: 26, 22, 22, 24, and then he had like a 5 spot in there somewhere. But has been efficient. Just don't love the matchup here. And then Gray on the other side, 4.7K. I think he will get some ownership. I'm not going to go there. I typically don't like guys when they get called up, mainly because we don't know how far he's going to get into the game here. I mean, he's facing a professional lineup. These aren't, AAA, AA guys. I think for me to get contrarian, I do like the Giants bats here, but Gray 2.87 ERA, 22 strikeouts in 15.2 innings pitched. The one thing I'm worried about with these guys who get called up are they going to be nervous? Are they going to give up a lot of walks? What's more likely to happen? Is he going to go 3 innings and, give up 2 or 3 walks, couple hits, maybe a home run? Or do you think he's going to go 6 innings in his first start and strike out 10? I think what's more likely to happen with these young kids they're going to maybe get blown up a little bit. So I definitely have interest in the Giants, mainly just because of a game theory standpoint and just to pick on the new guy, right? The new guy in the league. Yastrzemski at 4.4K, I like a lot. Wade Posey 4.4K, Flores 4.1K. I think it kind of starts with those four. If you're going to full stack, we'll just wait to see what the lineup brings. Duggar's definitely an option, Dickerson. So we'll see. We haven't really seen the Giants this cheaply priced in a while. So I might want to take advantage of that. And then on the other side, I think it starts with Betts, Turner, Muncy, all pretty expensive, 5.6, 5.6, 5.8. But I think it starts there, maybe a nice 3-man stack. Wood's been a pretty good pitcher though, so I don't really like to attack him. But yeah, that'll do it. My name's Tim Williams. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, if you made it this far, that's awesome. Huge shout out to everyone that's kind of reached out and just said some really nice and kind things. So I really appreciate it. This is a lot of fun for me. Good luck tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment below, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Peace.